I'm going to give you the easiest flows from Jin Shin Jyutsu to keep the 12 energies, organ energy harmonized, or at least the easy ways that I like to do it. I like to keep the 12 organ function energy harmonized on a daily basis in two situations. One, when I track the moon, so moon in Aries, I will harmonize the lung function energy, the moon in Taurus, I'll harmonize the large intestine energy, etc. You get the pattern. I actually go through numeric resonance, so the number one in the one division should and will be sharing attributes with number one in the other 12-fold division, and there's this numeric resonance where you can actually use one part from one division to harmonize the other one. So this is one case when I actually very frequently harmonize each of the 12 organ function energies simply because the moon is there. And if you find a new moon there, well, doubly more, you should be harmonizing that energy, because the new moon will mean that both sun and the moon are in that energy. The other case, which is not so frequent, but it's actually arguably even more profound, is that I would harmonize the function energy that corresponds to the astrological energy of my Saturn placement. So I have Saturn in Cancer, which is the fourth energy in astrology, and of course corresponds to the fourth energy in the daily energy cycle, which is spleen. I was doing spleen on myself long before I actually thought of connecting the two, and since then I actually have given away that corresponding flow or recommended to students, friends, family, clients, and every time everybody comes back with the same amazing story, that there's something about that Saturn energy that when we use the Jin Shin Jyutsu self-help flows to harmonize it, you feel tremendous relief very quickly. And I feel like there's some sense in it, because in astrology, wherever you find Saturn, it stands so much about pressure, obstruction, blocks, where we have placed those blocks for good reason. I'm not saying you'll be able to remove them over a day using Jin Shin Jyutsu flows. There is a reason why we have placed those breaks to move slow through certain lessons in life, because if you go through fast, sometimes things just get ugly. You miss some details, you skip something, and things just crumble. For symptoms, I've seen Jin Shin Jyutsu students have a whole list of cookbook symptoms, and I'll do this and I'll do that. That is not my way, really. I just like to go more with the flow, and two of the flows. One is like if I want to boost that energy where Saturn is, and two, if I see some astrological configurations that are calling for some extra, that will be causing tension in one part of the circle, the astrological circle. I'll zero in on that. For instance, I just created a video about Mars in Gemini, and I was like, okay, in order for me to stay aligned with that energy that will be very excessive and will be like pushing towards excess, I need to keep Gemini, number 3 in astrology, harmonized. And I'll do this by keeping number 3 in the daily energetic cycle, which is stomach, harmonized using my Jin Shin Jyutsu flow. So this is how you can actually do it. Again, use common sense. Do not replace your medical treatment with Jin Shin Jyutsu. Just complement it. And one final step before I jump into how to harmonize each of the 12. It is about light touch and making a connection. It is not about pressure. This is not a massage or acupressure technique. If you have any experience with physical engineering, electrical circuits, it's the analogy is actually perfect. All you need is a physical contact. You don't need to put pressure. You don't need to screw anything. This is why on the physical level, it is dangerous to go to the pool, excuse me, during thunderstorms, because water is everywhere and water is a conductor. So there's connection to everything, including your feet, and you can get electroshocked by simply being nearby if a lightning strikes and finds that pathway. So going back to the Jin Shin Jyutsu and the subtle energetic circuitry, we are providing pathways. So by touching you're connecting a pathway for the subtle energy to flow from one side to the other. I have seen practitioners who don't even need the physical contact, because it's really about subtle energy connection, and I have played with myself to see how far I can go and sense that energy. But ultimately I prefer the physical contact for a very pragmatic, very practical reason. It's easier, and I'm a great proponent of the easy does it. I mean, that's why, you know, we are talking about effortless reality here, right? Which reminds me of one more caveat. If a flow that I give you is a little bit too hard to execute, it's too hard to touch the toes or twist, or it's easy, but after 2-3 minutes you feel like tension building in your muscles, so that means it's not as comfortable as you thought, stop. Again, we're here in the business of effortless reality. We are not here to bring more pain for gain. You know, that is not the paradigm here. We're totally not subscribing to that way of life. We're here to prove that there is an easy way, effective, that can get us even faster sometimes. If you ever wonder, let's say you gave me this flow, but I don't know which one, this is not comfortable, you can always contact me through my website, effortlessreality.com. So with that, we are ready to start. And I will go through each of the 12, 1, 2, 3, and I'll give you my favorite shortcuts, easy quickies to keep them in harmony.